Welcome to Creative Pages with Catherine Live. I'm Catherine, and it's time for sketch number 4 from the December 2023 Creative Memories Virtual Crop. I will be doing sketch number 3 next, so don't think you missed one. 1 and 2 went up on Friday, and 3 and 4 are happening tonight. I am just going to go a little bit out of order. Sketch number 4 seemed a little bit easier, maybe, than number 3. So I'm going to be working with Nordic Winter, and let me get things switched over so you all can see what I am getting ready to do here. And there we go. Okay. So here's the sketch. Let me get myself sorted out here a little bit better. And, oops, this one is a 2-page sketch, and we're going to keep it a 2-page sketch. I have done a frame here, but I did it a little bit smaller maybe than what they suggested. I don't know. I don't know what half the time now that there's measurements on there, sometimes I look, sometimes I don't look, I don't know. And then I'm like, well, it's, I'm still putting pages together. So we are using Nordic Winter, and I'm going to use these pages as the base with kind of the animal silhouettes on it. I also picked out a sheet of hot fudge cardstock, and you can see I've already punched it using my Damask Flourish frame punch. I actually could say that correctly. Hopefully you could read it for yourselves. Damask Flourish frame punch. There we go. For those of you who aren't super familiar with our punches on the punch box, I want to show you. So there's a silver line here that shows you where to punch your frame, and you do need to have it in even numbers. There's also a black line here for if you want to do a border. And so I actually did do both a frame and a border using my hot fudge cardstock, and I wanted to show you that difference so that way when you see my page you'll understand what happened. Okay, and I'm having things fall off my desk here a little bit. Hang on. It's been a busy evening and a busy weekend. I'm still feeling that shingle shot a bit, but it's okay. We're powering through it, right? We're going to get these last 2 done. So this was a piece of hot fudge cardstock. I cut it at 10 inches by 10 inches because, again, remember I said I need even numbers when doing the frame punch part. So I went ahead and did it at 10 by 10 instead of cutting my sheet from the 12 by 12 or cutting my frame from the 12 by 12. Excuse me, I told you I'm suffering a little bit here. But that's okay. It's still fun to do a little scrapbooking even when we're suffering, right? So you easily could do a full sheet of cardstock and then later cut out some pieces, but I did use my scraps for this left side of the page, and you're going to see in just a moment what I have done. Let me put this on the page first, and I'm kind of off-centering it a little bit because I do have some embellishments I'm going to do here, and I'm actually going to add an extra border sticker to the right side of my page because it kind of helps to, I don't know, give me a little symmetry maybe, or just because I had 2 border punches and it seemed to work. So it doesn't call for it over here, and it kind of has us nice and centered on the sketch. So like I said, mine I did at 10 by 10. If you want to do 12 by 12, you probably won't have space for the extra stuff I'm going to be adding. So that's why I just wanted to make sure to note that and let you all know as well. I'm going to pull out my 0 centering ruler because if I don't, then I'm going to wind up off. But let's finish this page first. How's about that? Suffering a little bit. I'm jumping around a little bit. Hopefully all you can follow me. No, sometimes I usually maybe get a little bit out there. I want to make sure I get my things lined up. Okay, this is the top one. This is the bottom one. So I pulled out this paper with the deer and the trees. The other side of it is the wood tone. And for this one, I cut 6 4x6 mats. So that way, I mean, it means we have to trim down our photos just a little bit, which I don't usually do as much of that. I like doing the 4 1/4 by 6 1/4 mats, but since I cut my frame a little bit small, I had to make an adjustment here. Okay, yes, that's going to work. So when I'm placing my mat, I am going to cover up just a little bit of my flourish and just a little bit on the bottom as well. I'm actually going to line these up. So maybe I could have cut a single 6-inch by 8-inch mat and easily would fit on here. Actually, probably fit a little bit better at 7.5. But since I'd already cut 6 4x6, we're making it work. And I probably could have put that up just a little bit more, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and work on this left side of the page now for a moment. And I'm going to pull in so I have 3 more of my 4x6 here. But the main reason I have my 0 centering ruler out is because of this piece. So you remember how I cut a 10x10 frame? If I haven't said it enough, hopefully you get that. So that means we have a 2-inch by 12-inch piece, which I also cut with this is where I made the border for my flourish border. And we also have a 2-inch by 10-inch piece. So I'm glad I wrote that down because I blinked out on that one a little bit. Okay. So let's get our ruler lined up so that way we can line us up at the 5s and know that we have it centered on our page. I'm going to just scoot my ruler over just a little bit so I can get this lined up with the edge of the page here. All right. So here we go. I'm not pushing down on it. I did put the tape on it. Where's that 5? Down here. And up here. There we go. Okay, that one is set. I love because the 5 is here and the 5 is there. So you know you have your odd piece centered here. Then I'm going to pull in this. These are the border stickers I'm using. So I pulling that in over here to kind of, I don't want to say bridge the gap, but it is going to bridge a gap a little bit for me. And so it's okay if we're going to see just a little bit of the, sticker. All right, it's going to be a little bit off. That happens sometimes. It just drops and sometimes you have to go with it. So moving along here, I'm going to add some repositionable tape to the top of my damask border that I punched here out of the Hot Fudge cardstock. And here we go. Let's put this one on also. Okay. And I don't know, I'm going to sync it up actually with the top and the bottom of my page versus with the actual sticker because I lost control of the sticker a little bit. So that looks reasonably straight. Here we go. Yeah, you can see my sticker definitely is angling a little bit, but that's how you know it's homemade, right? I've got 3 more mats here. Again, I could have cut this at 6x12, but since I'd already cut them, I am going to try to keep these in order and make sure that my print on my page is going to line up nicely when I go to put it on the page. Just one of those nice things to pay attention to. So that way you're kind of run a little more seamless here. Okay, let's go tape runner tonight. Now let me double check and make sure I didn't put these out of order. Okay, that one is correct. And yep, okay, good deal. So we're going to be correct running up our page here. So I'm going to have just a little bit of the green showing on the right side here, about a half an inch, close to a half inch. And here we go. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for bearing with me here and watching. It is what it is. There we go. All right, so now I have one more mat because remember I cut 6 4x6 mats out of the one sheet of paper. And when I cut it, I actually was originally thinking of using this wood side over here, which you can if you want. But once I flipped it, I saw I cut it to where I liked how the deer looked on the page. And then I found a whole bunch of deer embellishments. So I'm going to use this one on the wood side. And I like that it's kind of running sideways through the page. And of course, my tape runner is going to run out on me here. Let me get that changed out real quick. All right. Whoops. And okay, so where was I? Here, and here. All right. Put this over. And let's see if we can get this kind of centered. Let me pull out my 0 centering ruler again because that's the way we're going to know it's centered. So line that up. And we know it's 6 inches, so we want it on the 3s. So 3 and 3. There we go. That made a difficult job very easy. And since I have my 0 centering ruler out, yes, that is a ½ inch of green showing on the side. So in our embellishment pack, we also have this one, and you can run it up and down if you want, but I just thought it'd be kind of cool to turn this into a journal box. And you can either post it to the top, and then you can have a photo running here. I think I'm going to center it again. I probably should just left my 0 centering ruler out. Okay. Because that's one of the things that actually wasn't in the, they have a couple of lines at the bottom of the page, but I thought, since we already changed up this to use the opposite side anyways, where are we? Okay, it's going to be about 1.5. Okay. Oh, oops. Okay. Okay, here's what I'm talking about. So in our sketch, you can see where they have lines down here for a journal box. But since I chose to add a 3rd photo to the page, or, you can turn your photos vertically instead of horizontally, or it just gives you a little more flexibility over here. I opted to put my journal box over here. So I'm putting 4 photos on this left side, or 3 photos in a journal box, or you can put a photo over here if you want and not add the extra embellishment. Just seemed to work for me. So, okay. And I also found a whole bunch of deer. So these guys are going to be walking towards each other. This little one's going to be up here, just kind of looking around. And just a little bit of tape. And get that onto our page. And you can use the repositionable for these as well. I'm just using the regular tape runner here. All right, so now finish up this right side of the page. Our left side is done. And I have a few more deer to go on the page. I actually did not pick out a title for this page because I was mostly sticking with the embellishments. I know I pulled in the border stickers, but if you do the 12x12 cardstock for your frame and you cut maybe a 4-inch-ish, I don't know, they recommend 3.5 on the sketch, but if you cut a 4-inch piece over here of the cardstock that matches whatever designer paper you use over here, that would match over here. You don't necessarily even need the sticker pack. You can just use embellishments to decorate if you want. So just giving you all another idea of what you can do with this page. Okay, let's see if I can get this one to cooperate better than the other side. Maybe. Okay. Maybe. Okay, there we go. Whew. All right, so these three little deer are going to be grazing over here on the side of the page. And we have a lot of deer in the embellishment pack, and there's a lot of deer between the shadows and our regular part of the page here. So I thought it just seemed to work. So that's what we're doing here. And there we go. Whew. I made it through that one. Here is the left side of the page. And here is the right side of the page. And I'll show you the sketch one more time. Hopefully I'm somewhat lined up there. All right, here's your sketch. So you can see where they put 4 smaller photos, and I opted to do 2 larger ones. And then, like I said, you can just, you do what you have your pictures for and how you like it on your page. I could easily fit 4 on these mats over here if I wanted. I can do vertical, I can do horizontal. So there you have it. I'll be back with sketch number 3 in just a few minutes. Until next time.